Welcome everyone to the Health Chats podcast. I am your host, Kelsey Grieveson, and today we are talking about travel, restaurants, and drinking while on a fitness journey. And this couldn't be more suited as I have been traveling now for 5 weeks. I have been trying my hardest to find the healthy options, restaurants, cooking in the villas that I'm staying in, or if I'm just in a room. And it has been challenging. If I'm being honest, it hasn't been easy. It has taken a lot of effort. And I know as a coach that a lot of women that I coach, they struggle too when they go and they travel. They're like, I gained weight, or a win would be I maintained my weight. But while you're on a fitness journey, quite often weight loss is the goal. And to share my own win, in these 5 weeks, I've dropped 5 pounds because I've been very intentional about macros and paying attention and seeking out those items that are still healthy and still aligned with my fitness goals. So I want to use this live call today to teach things that you can do and also share things that I've been doing. And then at the end, for the ladies who are here live with me, if you have any questions or comments, or maybe even shares of things that work for you, we'll leave space for that. So let's dive in. First things first, consistency is the key to long-term success. We've heard this time and time again. We know that we need to be consistent, but I think getting those subtle reminders are really helpful. Because health and fitness, it's not a 3-month thing. It's not a 6-month thing. It's a long-term thing that we commit to. When you're on a fitness journey, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to do it for this part of the year, and then I go to these other habits that are poor and that don't serve me. No, when you join into a fitness journey, you're actually stepping into like a full lifestyle. And I think when you have that click and that realization in your brain, you're like, whoa, okay, this is a new me. It's like an identity shift. It's so much more than a nutrition plan and a fitness plan. So coming to consistency as your key driver instead of perfection will help you be much, much, much more successful. Because travel and social events, going to restaurants, these are a part of life. We can't shut ourselves off from the world. That would be boring. That would make life kind of mundane. And so learning to navigate them, that's the key. And being flexible when you go out and you can say yes to dessert sometimes, this actually builds a lot of confidence in yourself because you trust that you can still create progress without sacrificing the enjoyment of food. Because food is so enjoyable. It's a universal connector for us. For years, thousands of years, we have sat down to break bread, is what they used to say, and connect with our families, with our friends, with so many people that way. So why would we try to sacrifice the enjoyment in food, right? And then, of course, being realistic with yourself when you go places. Is this a long-term trip or a short-term trip? Is this a restaurant visit once a week, or does your schedule tell you that you have to go to restaurants, like every single night of the week? And so be realistic with you and what it is in your journey, and, be compassionate with yourself as well. So if we're talking about planning and travel, the number one thing I would say is before you go, try to plan a little bit. Try to plan what the trip is going to look like. So if you're going to be on a flight for multiple hours, I know so many of the ladies here were just at the retreat and they were like, okay, I've got my snacks, I've got my nuts, I have protein bars. Amazing. Pack those. Pack your nuts, bars, fruit for travel days. I put a couple of bars here that I really like personally. Rise bars. They're made with whey protein. They have 3 ingredients and they don't hurt my stomach. I know that's another one for a lot of people is like, when you travel, you might get stomach upset, you might get constipated. That's very normal with travel because our body's under a lot more stress. And then Cliff Builders bars. This is maybe if you don't eat whey or dairy products, they have more ingredients, but they also don't hurt my stomach. And I have had a sensitive stomach for a lot of my life. So I like to share these for ladies who might also experience that. Restaurants. So we have more AI than ever before. And you can go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm staying in this area. Can you please tell me the top 10 restaurants in this area that have macro-friendly options? So search up that, look at meal prep services if this is a long-term trip, grocery stores if it's long-term and you're going to have a kitchen. Look up all of that stuff before you go, because then when you get there, you're not like overwhelmed. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to eat. Okay, we're going to go to McDonald's, which I don't think would happen for a lot of people who are listening to this or in my community, but sometimes it does, right? And so planning to succeed will help you succeed. Workouts, when it comes to your workouts, you likely have 3, maybe 4 workouts scheduled in your program per week. So if you can do that before you go, if it's a weekend trip, try to just do them. Do them before you go. Don't save them for like maybe in a hotel somewhere or like outside or at home. Do them before you go. But if it is long-term, plan them in advance. Look at what sort of equipment can I bring with me? Can I bring bands? Do I have a really good hotel gym? Or are there gyms nearby that I'd like to check out? I know on my own adventure here, I've been checking out so many gyms because it seems like Indonesia, they know what they're doing with gyms. They're like fancy. They're like full wellness centers. It's more than just a gym. So either get your workouts in or plan in advance. And if normally you would be going to a gym and you know you won't have access, contact your coach. Be like, hey, I'm going to be gone for X amount of days. Can you give me some good hotel workouts or at-home workouts that can help me stay aligned with my fitness goals while I'm gone? And then your coach will be like, heck yeah, I got you. Last one, stay hydrated and prioritize your sleep. Travel takes a lot out of you, even if it's just like a 4-hour plane ride, or maybe you're in a car, it's changing your environment. And that in itself, it brings stress. Even if you're going somewhere beautiful, you're going to Mexico, say for like 10 days. How many times have you gone on a trip and then you've come back and you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Like I need a vacation from my vacation, especially if it was like a family trip or something. That takes a lot out of you. So leading up to your trip, try to prioritize rest as much as you can. Don't bank on sleeping on the plane. You never know if you're going to be in front of a baby or behind someone who is doing something weird on the plane. You never know. So try to prioritize that stuff. During travel. So I'm that girl on the plane who gets up every hour to stretch. And I suggest you also become that person, because your body, when you are sitting for a long period of time, think of how long you sit when you're on a plane or when you're in a car. Find places in the airport, on the plane, or even like on road trips where you can pull over and you can create that space so you can stay mobile. Even if you just get up and you like reach up to the overhead compartment, maybe you're trying to be sneaky about it and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to reach up here, but really it's like a good stretch. Then maybe you like rock your hips from side to side. This in itself will just make your body feel so much better when you get to your destination. There is nothing worse you can do than sit for like 8 hours straight. Your body just stores so much fluid, and then you get up and you're like, oh, I'm sore. Maybe you don't have access to a massage when you get there, but I mean, I would suggest finding one if you can whenever you arrive. Water, this is a big one. So when you're on a plane, it's drier air, it's not as humid. So you actually are becoming way more dehydrated without really noticing it. So for each hour that you're flying, drink an extra 8 ounces of water, which can feel like a lot, but trust me, your body will thank you when you get to the destination and you're not like dry mouth, you're not like exhausted. The water helps. And this can go hand in hand with getting up each hour on your flight, because then you can get up and use the bathroom and try to do some weird yoga stuff in the bathroom. That's what I do. Stay active during your travel. So look for local hikes, bike tours, walks around the city, short HIIT workouts, like I said, that you can do in your hotel, at home, yoga, YouTube yoga. I have a couple of videos that I can share, but also there's so many women on YouTube that have their yoga videos, resistance bands. And then if it's a family trip, I like to always say, try to incorporate your friends and your family into it, because I think like, this is kind of a zoom out look at it, but most people, they are trying to feel better. They are trying to feel healthier. I don't really think there's many humans who wake up every day and they're like, oh, I just want to continue feeling like crap today. Most people, your family and friends included, would feel really good if you were like, hey, why don't we go on a walk after dinner instead of just like sitting and, you know, hanging out around the couch. So try to incorporate your friends. Try to be that empowering person that inspires them to also get up and move their body, because a lot of people, they do want it as well. Now, restaurants. So this has been where I would say I've been shining, and it has not been easy, but I want to walk through this and then I'll show you some photos of food and how I've had to modify it in restaurants to help me literally lose weight while traveling in Asia. So looking for protein-packed meals. This means grilled meats, not fried, not sauteed, but grilled, and asking to have it grilled. Eggs, add on extra eggs. Most restaurants, when they have an egg dish, some sort of breakfast dish, it's 2 eggs. So you would say, okay, can I add 2 more? Prioritize vegetables as sides. So most vegetables, they would be sauteed in some sort of oil. A lot of restaurants, they're not using olive oil, they're not using coconut oil, they're using corn oils or seed oils, which are not inherently bad. They just aren't good over a long period of time, and they add a lot of calories. So ask for your veggies steamed, not cooked in oil. When it comes to dressings and sauces, ask for them on the side or not at all. And when you have them on the side, don't dump them completely on. This is where you can use more mindful awareness of, if I were to actually measure this in MyFitnessPal, in my macro tracker, how much would I actually have? It might be a teaspoon, and then maybe you teaspoon it on, or it's 2 teaspoons, right? Ask your server about serving sizes. Most restaurants, especially chain restaurants, depending on where you're traveling, they know the grams of protein in each dish. So if you're looking at the menu, there's a chicken dish on there. A simple question, how many grams of chicken are in this? And they might not know immediately, but they will find out. And I understand that's an extra step. Sometimes it takes courage. You might be like, oh, I don't want to annoy them. And maybe the people pleaser part inside of you is like, no, I don't want to ask. But coming to that, I mean, that there's a lot of depth in people pleasing and stuff. If you can't please yourself, how can you please others? You're on a fitness journey. So ask about the grams. And I guarantee you it would actually make them probably happy, because they're like, oh, cool, I have something else to do rather than just serve and take the plates away. They might actually enjoy that you're asking. 80-20 rule. So this is a food rule that will exist whether you're out traveling or even at home. 80% of the food that you put into your body should be whole food. This should be stuff, when you look at the label, there is no more than 2 or 3 ingredients. This is things like your fish and your chicken and your eggs and your pasta and rice and a vegetable. But then 20% of the time, have the cake, have the dessert. Life is way too short to say no to those things. Are you going to eat the entire cheesecake? Probably not. The entire tub of ice cream? Would not recommend. But if it's a friends and family dinner that you're having, or even if it's a corporate thing, I always say, again, back to connection, the universal connector is food. How enjoyable can it be to share this cool dessert in a different country or in a different environment with someone across the table from you, rather than in your bedroom where you're shaming and guilting yourself over it, right? So have the dessert. Here's some food. So these are pictures that I've taken. I'm a huge foodie. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of this. But for those of you who are watching and not just listening to the podcast, I have put a bunch of arrows here on how I've modified the food to make it match my fitness goals. So first one, sauces on the side, protein. I was in this restaurant. I was like, how much protein comes with this? And they were like 150 grams of chicken. I was like, amazing. Same with the next one. They're like, yeah, we do 150 grams of chicken. I'm like, wow, these are good portion sizes for protein. But then there's restaurants below where it was just a plate of fruit. And I was like, a plate of fruit isn't really breakfast. I've been preaching from the beginning that you need 30 grams of protein per meal. Doesn't matter who you are. 30 grams of protein per meal. This will keep you satiated. So adding extra eggs on to your breakfast. This one here, same thing. It only came with 2 eggs. So I was like, I'm going to add an egg, and it came with bacon. I didn't want bacon. I didn't want high fat. So I subbed it out for chicken. They're very open to this. Having burgers. I like a burger. Who doesn't like a burger? But I also knew I liked fries. And if you look at a menu item of a burger, it's normally going to be 1,000 calories if you have the regular burger bun with the sauces and the fries on the side. And I was like, I'm going to cut out the bun. Don't feel like the bun today, but I'm going to have the fries. But I don't always say no to that, right? It's, again, these mindful little choices that we make. Sauces on the side for these two restaurants. These ones, the last two, they actually portioned it for me. That was so nice. I was like, hey, I'm on a fitness journey, if I'm being honest, and I would love to know how much protein, how much carbs, and how much vegetables I'm eating. Are you able to do that? And they were like, oh yeah, for sure. So that's another lesson too, is you don't know unless you ask, right? And worst case scenario, they say no. They're like, no, I'm not doing that for you. That's fine. At least you asked, right? At least you asked. So the courage to ask. And then desserts, because I like desserts. I have a sweet tooth. Life is too short not to have dessert. We do not, I already said this, we do not need to eat the whole tub of ice cream. Try to keep your treats, and this goes beyond just travel. Try to keep them to like 1 to 2 times per week, because when we restrict, when we're like, no, I can never, ever, ever have a dessert, what exists on the opposite side of that coin is binge. If we say, I can't have, human behavior shows that we will try to get what we can't have, and we will try to make up for how long we told ourselves we couldn't have that. So have the dessert. Make it a shared experience too. Have it with someone. There's nothing better than a slice of cake or like a scoop of ice cream. But I think what makes it even better is when you're sharing it with someone and you can be like, here, taste mine. Ooh, can I taste yours? And it just makes the whole experience even more fun. Now let's get into drinking. So I think many people listening to this, you don't drink, but there are some people who do. So my first tip is, before you go out, set a limit for yourself. Take the pause. Mindfulness can be incorporated in really every area of your life, but this one too. Before you go, do not rely on willpower alone. I think it can be really easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out and like, I probably won't drink that much. And then you have like 7 shots and you're blackout and you don't even know how you got home. And honestly, I don't know if this happens to many people anymore, but maybe it does. And then how do you wake up? You wake up in regret, you wake up in shame, you're in this spiral, and that doesn't really get you anywhere, right? So try to set a limit, 1 to 2 drinks max. In between the drinks, I would say drink 1 to 2 glasses of water. This is just going to help you stay hydrated, because alcohol for sure will dehydrate you, and in the right mind to make positive decisions. The lighter options for alcohol would be tequila water, vodka soda. Try to avoid the sugar, because the sugar too, it just, dehydrates you and makes you feel even more hungover from what I understand. So using Mio, those little sweetener things that you can buy if you prefer to have a sweeter drink, it's sweetened with stevia, I think. And to give education on alcohol, we have our macros, right? We have our carbs, proteins, and fats, but then alcohol is actually a separate macronutrient of its own. It's 7 calories per gram, and it is the only macronutrient that is unnecessary to survival. And it is the only macronutrient that has an adverse effect on our health. So understanding that about drinking, you don't need to cut it out completely, but usually alcohol and fitness journey, they don't go hand in hand. They're very separate items. And now to kind of wrap everything up, mindset over perfection. I know I gave a lot here. I'm like, do this, do that, but really come back to consistency. It's not going to be perfect. There were many moments during my travels where I was out and I was looking for the healthiest option, and it was getting late and my hunger was taking over. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to this whatever Indonesian restaurant and I'll see what's on their menu and I'll do my best. It's not perfect. Allow yourself to enjoy the unique foods and experiences too, because I don't know when the next time is that I'm going to be here. Why would I limit myself just because I have these specific goals? I think experiences can be, even more important sometimes than this specific goal, right? And remember that one meal that's not aligned with your macros, one drink, or even one, say it's a whole week, it's not going to ruin your progress forever. It will not. It can be more stressful to beat yourself up over eating the wrong thing, eating too many macros, not hitting your protein goal, than to just have the food that was served to you or made for you, maybe as a family thing. And stress, as we know, it has a really big impact on your fitness journey. So try to avoid the stress around it. And that's all I have. So Thank you for listening to the Health Chats podcast. If this was helpful for you, leave a comment below. Send this to your friends, to your family who might also benefit from it, or send me a message. Best place to reach me is on Instagram. I would love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you.